This is TomorrowPictures.tv.
Tomorrow Pictures.
This town's made of tin. Convertible car, sexy man.
The next chapter in the legacy of Michael Jackson. We're still here on Hollywood Boulevard, and we're looking for some reaction. So you're here today because of the Michael Jackson phenomena. How do you feel about it?
You know, I am deeply saddened. I spent an entire lifetime with the soundtrack of Michael Jackson as my life, and so I'm here with all of these great people that love him, that have time to come out here tonight and pay him some respect. I wish he was here with us.
Definitely. What's your favorite Michael Jackson song?
You know, I think it's Morphine. It's a very strange song. I loved The Man in the Mirror, and I loved maybe Rockin' Robin was my favorite.
Okay.
Rockin' Robin,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, that pretty much spans the gamut right there.
It does,
that,
you know.
That
You got,
covers the old days and the new days and all that other stuff. And so let's
Absolutely.
talk about that for a second. I mean, he's an icon. He's an American icon. He's lived during the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and in the 2000s, and he's been an influential artist through that entire time. You know, what type of profound effect do you think that his passing has on people?
Well, Michael at some point had, even almost taken, I mean, he was always musical, but almost sort of de-emphasized his music and had gone on to just be a champion with words, that he was becoming he's a human rights activist, I would say, you know, that he was very humble, selfless, and, you know, very convinced about what was right in the world, you know, that he spoke very little. What he did say was very, very specific and clear, that what's going to be gone is, the things we might have learned from him in the future. I think he was very incredibly insightful, you know, that his genius, you know, entitled him to certain situations which allowed him to, you know, form these thoughts that we needed to share. You know, we're not going to be able to really have any more of that. I don't know that there was more that he could have said, but I imagine that there was. I think, you know, he was a black guy. That's what I really love about him. He was a black dude that shattered barrier after barrier after
Absolutely.
barrier after barrier. You know,
Yeah, he's a black guy from Gary, Indiana, that grew up very, very poor, that made billions of dollars as an adult and trillions of dollars for the massive corporate machine, you know, as well. So that's a fantastic journey to go on, and to be able to have that kind of insight as a black man, and then be willing to share it as well, you know. And his music never came across as angry or bitter or disingenuous or anything like that. He was always interested in sharing it with everyone.
Yeah, I love that he, he went all over Motown, and then he went, spanned the globe with his music. You know, he had things that sounded classical and things that sounded jazzy and things that, you know, he was just completely diverse, you know, in his genius. I'm going to really miss, going to miss him terribly.
What do you think about some of his music that hasn't ever been heard? That's, you know, the throwaway tracks from old albums, Off the Wall, Thriller, stuff like that. How do you feel about those songs coming out?
I'm all for it. You know, anything to feed Paris, Prince, and Blanket. I would say, you know,
Exactly, because they're going to have to be fed.
You got to feed those kids. You know, keep them living in the style in which they're accustomed. I would love to see, you know, further compilations of Michael Jackson's music. I would buy it.
You would buy it? Well, these days you got to download it.
I would download it.
You would download
Exactly.
it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've always interested to, you know, hear what he was attracted to musically.
Yeah, and it's always fascinating when you have the opportunity to sort of pick the brain of a genius and find out what influences them and where it comes from as well. And once again, like you had said earlier, it garners an incredible amount of insight into things beyond what you normally would think about as well.
That's right. You know, you think of it. You know, some people have a very, you know, simple opinions about him, but he had very long arms.
He really did.
Very long.
Really did. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he didn't segregate. You know, like you had said, he was a black man, but at the same time, he wasn't an embattled or bitter black man as well. You know, any of his demons, they were sort of personal demons that he had to work out, but he didn't really grind that axe with the rest of the universe. He actually tried to help.
Well, and you know, he also got to experience humility. He was humbled, greatly humbled by, you know, vitiligo, and by being demoralized for his, you know, personal preferences, whatever all that was, when everybody was in his underwear drawer. It's like, you know, where nobody belongs, you know, that he dealt with that very majestically, that he, you know, he rode that wave, you know what I'm saying? That tidal wave.
Yes.
Exactly. I love that he was always discreet, but in the same way, very, you know, true to himself. You know, he did it his way. He did it his way. Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Likewise.
Stay well.
Yeah, have a good TV.
Tomorrowpictures.tv.
I'm going to remember that.
I want you to remember that. I want you to go look
I'm
it
going to
up.
remember that.
He's going to remember tomorrowpictures.tv.
Tomorrowpictures.tv.
Exactly. Use it when you're online. Listen to him. He knows what he's talking about.
Exactly. Just ask Superman.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Do what Jesus says. All right.
They say. Buy, download Michael.
Download my exactly.
And watch tomorrow.
Pictures.tv.
I'm old. My memory is no good.
That's okay.
Shot to Hades.
That's all right.
Thanks a lot.
This town's made of tin. Convertible car, sexy man. Dark sun.
When I log on to the internet, I log on to tomorrowpictures.tv.
It's Twan again, and yes, when I log on to the internet, I'm all about tomorrowpictures.tv. That's what you need to be. That's what all the funny stuff is. Tomorrowpictures.tv. Check it out.
Tomorrow Pictures.
The story is in the telling.